and give you an update from what's been going on with the Alaska Home Missions Department. In February, I got to work on things like starting to make arrangements for supplies and personnel to get into the village of St. Michael to repair damage that we have to the roof on the parsonage. So a windstorm a few weeks ago has blown part of the roof off. So we have two areas actually that the roof is exposed. So we need to get that covered up before it starts warming up and water starts running into the parsonage there. So I'm so pleased that personnel are stepping forward and say, hey, I'm willing to go and we'll help you out to get this done. So praise God. You'll hear more about St. Michael and the work that we need to get done there. That's one of the projects that we'll be talking about at the missions banquet this year. So you'll hear a lot more about that and you have an opportunity to get involved in that. So many of you have heard we need pastors in Alaska. So working with Bishop Welch, our superintendent in Alaska, and U.S. missionary Anthony Freeman. Anthony is bringing a team up in a few weeks to help us to start recording a new video to show the need that we have for pastors in our great state. So as we go forward here, we're praying that God will take that and other means. I'm praying that God will use that video or even one of the reality TV shows on Alaska and call people to Alaska. Would you join your prayers with us that God would call people to our state to pastor these locations that we're needing pastors in? So I appreciate your prayers and your in joining us and your faith in that. So I'm excited to announce that I'm also working with two couples right now that are in the process of filing for a U.S. missions appointment. So it's not quite official yet on one of the couples. They're really close, but excited as they get official, I'm going to introduce you to them and give you an opportunity to meet them and join them in your prayers and your financial support perhaps as well. So exciting that God's calling and positioning people. And we're praying for 300 workers in Alaska. So would you join us in believing and praying that God would wake people up, use whatever method to call them to our great state, to help us getting the gospel into each village, reach each person in Alaska with the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So in 2022, we're still working to get personnel into all of our target locations. So we're in the process of that. We've been working through that, getting people out to each of these locations. The goal is to strengthen the relationship that we have with the key leader and work towards getting consistent gospel witness living and dwelling in that village. So personnel there on site living out the gospel of Jesus Christ, raising up the local person into their leadership position. So thank you for praying with us on that for our targeted locations. And I just really appreciate that. So many people ask, what do you do with the majority of your time? So I'll take a minute to answer that. So the most of my time is spent as the Alaska Home Missions Director, and I provide support for 31 developing assembly churches. So in Alaska, we have a status called Developing Assembly, and I'm the first person to reach out and provide support for these locations. Well, that support can mean all kinds of things, as you can imagine. So I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to serve our network, our bishop that way. I'm thrilled that God has allowed me to be in this place at this time doing this ministry, and I'm excited for the future as we go forward. We want to get the gospel into each village. Every person in Alaska deserves to hear the gospel one time. I don't think we should slow down. I don't think we should back up until everybody has heard the gospel. So would you join us in prayers and in praying for open doors, for favor, for workers, for the resources to mobilize people and as we look to blanket the state of Alaska with the good news of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I want to wrap up by saying thank you for supporting us as missionaries. So it's because of your support that we're able to just stay here and do this work that we're doing in Alaska. We cherish your prayers and your financial support as we partner together with other ministries and doing missions in this great state. Again, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Have a blessed day.